Okay, it's been a little more than 2 months, 2 months, 2.5 months since we planted the corms in our little makeshift area here. It was September, I want to say 18th or 19th, and it's November 24th now. So a little more than 2 months. And the corms some of them had started sprouting. We ended up with about, I would say, at least a half a dozen of them that sprouted. Now, that's a half a dozen out of over 1,100, so, that's not that impressive. But I wanted to show you the two that are remaining. And then here's the dirt that Andrea got out of the third one of these that the corms that we're getting ready to plant are in. So let me show you what the corms look like now. Okay, and here's the corms that Andrea got out of the container. Ignore the ones on the left here. These were remnants of corms that were in the garden from this year. And before we took the garden up, we yoinked those out, and we had those in a pot in there. So we're going to plant those back in the ground. But here they are. I would say the majority of these have not gotten roots yet. A few of them, as you can see, have sprouted, and there are some roots. So they are starting to grow a little bit. These corms are notorious for taking forever to get started. And so by having them inside in a controlled environment for 2.5 months, we were able to eliminate them being out in the garden and wasting a bunch of space out in the garden. So now we're getting ready to plant them in the garden so we can waste a bunch of space. So all of our garlic cloves have been planted, all 2,400 plus or minus of them. So now we're on to the garlic, or to the garlic corm.
Bays.
Bays.
Phase.
So,
phase.
phase. All right, Andres keeps saying phase. I thought she was saying bays. So that's it for that. I'll have a separate video on the garlic cloves because we have them all strawed up right now. So we're going to get out, we're going to plant these. These are going to be a lot easier to plant than the garlic cloves because they're a lot smaller.
Once we get past these ones will have to be ginger. But once we get past those, then yeah, these will be easier.
All right. I think it's always funny. Andrea likes using the word ginger when she's a redhead. So anyway, so that's what the garlic corms look like after 2.5 months. Now, these outer husk skins were not off of these completely. I just kind of partially took them off because I had 1,100 plus to do, and it was killing my fingers, so that was the happy medium. So, so a lot of these, like,
It's coming off now.
yeah, this one, for instance, you could see part of the original husk on it, and then you can obviously see where it had broke through. And those husks obviously are biodegradable, so they will decay over time. It just takes a while for them to do that. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to go out and plant some corms. Okay, and the corm row is planted. I'd say we got a little more than 3/4 down the row, about where it got done drunk tilling down there, where it got straightened back out. All the ones that had sprouted, we put up at the top here so we knew where they were. So Andre wanted to plant those real quick. And so now all we got to do are the other two batches. So we think we're going to have about a total of 2.5 of these rows of corms. And then we have some damaged garlic and some other miscellaneous stuff we're going to put at the end of the third row. But that is the first batch of corms. It is Sunday before Thanksgiving right now, and I want to have all of this done and covered with straw by Thanksgiving, because it's supposed to rain on Thanksgiving, and then it's supposed to get cold. And when I mean cold for us, as in we have not had a freeze yet, even though it's almost the end of November. But by a week from now, the low's supposed to be in the 20s, or as in 20. And that is extremely cold for us at any time of the winter. So if it's going to go from no freeze to 20 degrees, that is going to be one heck of a freeze. So anyway, that's the end of the corms. And then when we get done, I'll attach that on the end of this. Okay, all the corms are planted, and we had a couple of miscellaneous other things too that we planted in these rows. These, for instance, at the top of this row, those were damaged cloves, so these might or might not actually grow. So we wanted them separate from everything else, simply because we're just curious if they're going to grow or not. But we have all 9 rows done, and we were 1 bale short of finishing this. So the straw bales that we got over the spring that we had in the carport over there, we had 1 less bale than what we needed, so we had to get straw bales anyway, so we finished it up. That's why I didn't do the video today, because we actually finished doing this the day before Thanksgiving. It's the day after now. So the straw should sit here all winter and just grow their roots and maybe shoot up a little bit. And then come springtime, when it gets a little warmer, then they'll start going gangbusters, or at least that's the plan. And the other thing I want to do this winter is I just want to get some inexpensive landscape fabric and put around the perimeter of the garden, because I was able to keep all the grass and weeds at bay most of the year, but then when we got into August, into July, into August, it just got completely out of control, and about the first 3 feet of the rows ended up being just covered in weeds. And so I want to try to prevent that for next year. So if we can just get cheap landscape fabric, we'll put it down, and then we'll just throw it out at the end of the year. Or if it's still good, we might use it again. But that's it for the corms. And we're supposed to get our first hard freeze tonight. And then it's supposed to get down to 20 degrees or below in the next 2 or 3 nights. And so in our zone, we're zone 8B, 15 degrees is considered our absolute lowest for growing purposes. And we've hit 15 degrees a couple of times. We haven't hit anything below that, but we have hit 15 and 16 and stuff. And it's supposed to be somewhere between 18 and 20 degrees in a few nights. So some of our winterization stuff, which I have on another video, we'll see if it actually works. And if it does work with this amount of cold, then it'll work for our winter. And right before the video is done, the sun just came out a little bit. So that's all of our garlic, and I am sick and tired of planting garlic, so I am glad it is done.